Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us. If you have a question for Coach C, go right ahead and raise your hand. Natalie?
Hi, Coach. On such a quick turnaround, how do you plan on implementing the changes that you think need to be made, and what big changes do you think need to be made before Tuesday night?
Well, until I watch the film, I probably can't comment on all of that until I'm a little more clear. I do know that we can't have 14 turnovers that lead to 20 points. Almost all of our turnovers resulted in some sort of scoring by them. I mean, it's one thing to have dead ball turnovers and you turn around and, play defense, but when they're passing turnovers for fast break layups, those are tough. The other thing is, obviously we didn't shoot the ball well again. We only had a couple people shoot well. Tough first game for Mai. She's kind of excited and, she'll be better. I think a lot of what we'll do between now and Tuesday is, be self-critical on film. Tomorrow will not be a heavy workout. We had a lot of people playing, big minutes. We'll do some shooting and we'll walk through some things. We have a shoot around on Tuesday to correct things, but I'm not going to sit here and say exactly what we need to do. But I do know that they had 26 assists on, 33 baskets. I mean, they shot 52 and we shot 38, 39%. That just doesn't win games. We put them at the free throw line. They had 4 starters in double figures. They spread it out. I thought their post players played terrific, and I thought their guards did a great job of facilitating. And then, they had, Vivian step up off the bench and make shots that gave them a boost.
Kareem?
Hey, Mike. What wasn't sharp on defense today? Like you said, they kind of got a little bit from everybody, and were kind of able to kind of put a lot of points up in the paint also.
Yeah, I think, their start, for lack of a better term, kind of put us on our heels a little bit when McCowan was, getting it so deep in the paint. We started overreacting to some things, and then they were able to start, getting other people involved. We zoned them some today. That bothered them for a while. They figured it out a little bit. But I just think that their size, I told our players at halftime, we're not going to grow. I mean, we're not going to be bigger than we are right now. So we have to take advantage of the things that are good for us. They're huge. I mean, between McCowan and Hattar and Lauren Cox and Jessica Breland, that's a large group in the lane. And so we're going to have to figure out a way to combat that. But I just think their start kind of put us on our heels. And I would have thought that we would have been a little more relaxed when we got it close again at halftime. But we had an awful third quarter, turning it over, missed shots. I thought we did a lot of one-pass offense today. Normally we're a team that moves the ball 3 or 4 passes, gets a good shot. I thought the ball was slow moving today.
And I was going to ask about that third quarter. I think it was a 25-7 run at that stretch. What did you say to what do you say to the team at that point?
Well, I mean, at each time out, we're trying to talk about just specific things that we can do better. But it didn't work. So I don't want to comment further until I watch the film and see if I can be a little bit more specific with our team tomorrow.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Jen?
Hey, Coach, you talked a little bit pregame about wanting to get out and run. How do you feel like you did on that? And is that just defense leading to offense that you were looking for?
I'm sorry, you cut out. You cut out at the start of your question.
Sorry, I was just asking about your.
I didn't hear the.
I was just asking about your pregame goal to kind of get out and run to counter their size, and how you felt like you did with that.
I don't know. I think the pace was okay. I mean, but we shooting at the guard spot. But I think the running part was fine, but we ran and made one pass, maybe two, or we turned it over. Um, I just don't think we played with the same rhythm that we did the other night, but credit them a little bit. You know, I said the other night, this was going to be a different kind of game. You know, New York is smaller, less physical. This was going to be a big physical game. But they have some quick guards too. Kelsey Mitchell's quick, Daniel Robinson's quick. But I think they, you know, they lost a couple close games in their losses. And I think that they stuck to their identity better today than we did.
And then, I noticed that Natasha's been very animated, which is, of course, she's known for that, but she's gotten a couple technicals at the home games. Are you okay with her level?
Actually, she only has one technical. The other technical was not on her game.
Oh, really? Okay.
Just for clarity.
But are you okay with how demonstrative she's been so far to start the season?
I think that I like most of her emotion. I think there's times that it gets her wound up maybe more than she needs to be. I think she knows that. But I think that's, she's used to winning, and, being patient right now is a new virtue she needs.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Anybody else? We good?
We're good.
All right, thank you.
If you have a question for Ariel, go right ahead and raise your hand. Kareem?
Hey, Ariel, how are you?
Hey, Graham, I'm all right.
Obviously a tough day today. Can you take me through that third quarter a little bit? What happened? You hit that jumper to kind of take that first lead that you guys had all game. Then they literally answered with like a 25-7 stretch. Can you detail a little bit what happened from that point on?
Yeah, we just got to find a way to get stops. That's also on me. I can't be out there just fouling. I need to be able to stay on the floor. And also need to be aware that we were up one. There was no need for me to go for that. So yeah, just got to find a way to get stops.
And that's what I was going to ask also about the defense in general. Is that, I understand, having to find a way to get shots, but I think, they shot over 50%. Was that a little, just good shooting day by them, or was that a little bit more of something that you guys think you, I know not just get stops, but, should have done a little bit more on that end of the floor?
Yeah, I mean, it's tough to explain because like you really do just have to get down and get stops. I feel like a lot of their shots were in their comfort zone. So we got to find ways to make people uncomfortable, not let them get their first option. Thanks.
Cool. Thank you.
Yep.
Jen?
Hey, Ariel, just wanted to ask you real quick about Maisha. Obviously not her best shooting night, but, was it good to have her back? And what do you kind of say to her after a game like this that, maybe wasn't the debut that she wanted?
Get your flow back. I mean, she just came back from overseas. It's not like she's had any downtime to really kind of, lock in mentally and focus on what we're doing here. I mean, she's just now getting back. I didn't expect her to come out here and drop 30. And she also has to get used to our team. We have a new team. So she has to find her flow within our team. And we also have to figure out what it is, that she's doing. She's gotten better year after year after year. There are more things that she can do. So we've got to figure out how to mesh all of our players together. I'm glad she's back and I'm ready to get with her.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Oh, sorry, hold on. Shibata?
Hello, Ariel. Thank you for your
Hi.
time. Can you hear me? So I'm calling from Tokyo, Japan, and
Awesome.
I'm just curious about this season for you because you are also tuning up for the Tokyo Olympics. I think,
Mhm.
and you have a chance to compete for the national team, I think. So number one question is, how has it been for this season? You have 4 games played, and how do you feel about
Mhm.
yourself? And how different is that? Because you have a COVID situation, the Tokyo Olympics, and the
Mhm.
WNBA. So what's different from the normal season?
Yeah. I feel good about what we're doing because even though we are having these rough moments, there are things that we just need to learn. We need to find our identity as a team and to be night in, night out. And that's kind of parallel to me as a player as well. I need to figure out who I want to be night in and night out. My team needs to know what they can expect from me every single day. And then when we get down to the COVID aspect of it, I mean, it's new for everybody. We're still figuring out, even though it's been here for a while, everybody's trying to figure it out as far as like the protocols and different things like that. So, I mean, I'm not really sure. I'm just doing what our medical people say to do.
Okay, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
We're good.
Yes.
Yeah. Thanks, Aaron. Yep. All you. Okay. Thank you.
Oh, it's a smaller screen. All right, everyone. If you have a question for Tina, go right ahead and raise your hand. Kareem?
That was the wrong button. Hey, Tina.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm just curious, what happened on defense today? You guys kind of clawed back, got back in there early third quarter, and then 25-7 kind of run. What was happening on that end of the floor?
Yeah, the game as a team, at some point we have to decide who we're going to be, who we're going to reflect night in and a night out basis. The team that came out versus New York was not the team that was present today. McCowan hurt us early, and that caused us to have to switch defenses than we have in the past couple of games. They came out hungry. They came out with all the energy as we did versus New York, just in search of your first win to get the momentum going. But the good thing is that we play them in a couple of days and we can just get it back.
And you kind of touched on it a little bit about deciding what kind of team you guys want to be or are. I'm just curious, what's the vibe? Because, it seemed like, I know there was a bit of feel good after New York, and kind of maybe you guys had started to find yourselves and find a bit of a groove. And then I know today's got to be pretty disappointing. I'm just curious, what's the vibe around the locker room right now?
We're hopeful. It's still early in the season. There's a lot we have to clear up. We threw Maisha out there. She needs to get a couple of practices underneath her, but definitely hopeful. It just goes back to who we're going to decide we're going to be, and just carrying that onto the court. Holding our heads up high, and we know we're down a couple of people, but we're not going to use that as an excuse. We're all still professionals and can go out there and win a collective hand of games this season.
Just one more for yourself individually, how good did you feel, dropped 31. I know, you'd rather get the win, but at the same time, pretty efficient for you, and obviously kind of rolling several games in a row now.
Yeah, I still need to work on my shot selection. Just there's opportunities I know that I could take advantage of the person who's playing against me, but there's going to have to be some possessions where I'm moving the ball and getting my other players off, and just knowing that that open shot that was there is going to be there later in the game. So just trying to find that balance of getting everybody involved in the game, moving the ball and keeping it fluid out there. That's the main thing for me. But I'm gonna go out there and do what I have to do. But it's just trying to find that balance, getting everybody else involved so they can have that same energy going through the game.
Cool. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Kareem. It was good talking to you.
Always.
Jen?
Hey, Tina.
How you doing?
Kind of building off of Kareem's question. I'm just curious for you and your fellow post players out there, how disruptive is that length that Indiana throws out? I mean, obviously you had a really nice stat line, but is it, did you have to adjust in response to all that height that they could throw out there?
No, not for me personally. It was just more so on the defense. It was more so having to adjust to playing against McCowan and her strength, and her getting better at finishing around the rim. They killed us with a lot of high lows and middle pick and rolls, and having her dive down. But offensively, no, for me, I'm used to going up against height. I think that's the reason why when I realized I was going to stop at 6'2", I realized I had to put more work into my skills. So I just trust the work that I put in and knowing that would carry me throughout games.
And then you mentioned Maisha getting thrown in there. You know, obviously struggled with her shot today. Do you say anything to her after the game, or just, you know, expect her to bounce back once she's got a couple of practices?
Yeah, I think she knows the situation. Like, she's literally just getting off of a flight and, you know, we need her to be here. She gave us strong minutes. I think she had like solid assists out there, but I don't think that's anything that's going to trouble her. Her confidence is through the roof. Her energy is great to have her here, someone who's familiar with the organization and knows the play. So she's probably more so going to be a big help to me than anything, having her out there.
I just have been picturing her walking into team breakfast, like bouncing off the walls, being out of quarantine. Is
Yeah.
that how it went?
Yeah, basically, yeah.
Great, good to know. Thank you.
No problem.
Shabata,
Hello, Tina.
How you doing?
Thank you for your time. I'm doing good. I'm calling from Tokyo, Japan,
Mhm.
and I'm just curious about how different your mindset is from the normal years, because this year there is a Tokyo Olympics, obviously, and you have the opportunity to compete for the national team, I think. So how different is it for you?
How different?
Yeah, from normal WNBA season, because you have the
How
opportunity to
different is it
also.
to compete in the WNBA than Olympics? That's your question?
Yes.
It's, you know, it's much, in all respect to my teammates in the Mystics, but you know, when if I'm granted the opportunity to be on the national team, I'm alongside the best of the best. You know, it's a little ease of your mind. It's a little more confidence going into the games. You know, all I have to do is just set hard screens, run the floor hard, dragging the defense, and finish around the rim. So for me, you're playing against the best of the best, playing against the best of the best in the world. There's that heightened sense of awareness that USA is trying to go for their 7th straight gold medal. You know, I believe that pressure is when someone asks you to do something that you're not capable of doing. But whomever they deem to choose on that USA women's national team this year, I believe that they'll be able to get it done no matter who's on the roster. But when you have 12 of the best players in the nation from the United States, I mean, it's definitely, you know, you go out there knowing that anything is possible.
Okay, thank you so much. ありがとうございました。
thank you, Tina.
I'm all set.
Yes.
All right, you guys have a good one.
Oh. All right, everyone. Any questions for Sydney? Kareem?
Hey, Sydney, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. I just wanted to ask a little bit, you know, is a day like today a little bit more frustrating considering how well you guys had kind of played against New York, and it seemed like, and I know you know, you're still kind of, you know, very fresh to the team and kind of, you know, still everybody's kind of still finding their way, but is it a little bit frustrating coming off of such of a good effort against New York to kind of take a little bit of a step back today?
I think that's the theme of the beginning of a season. You're trying to find your identity as a group, trying to see what works on both ends of the floor. And it's a little bit of trial and error. And I know, like you mentioned, we got a lot of new bodies, myself included, but this organization has history and tradition of greatness. And I think we're trying to fit ourselves into that, find our identity as a group. And so thankfully we play them again on Tuesday, so we can take these lessons, watch some film, bounce back on Tuesday. But, you know, we've seen glimpses, so there's hope. Everything is fixable and it's in our control. So we just got to make sure that we buckle down, pay attention to what we got to get better at, and then execute that in the game on Tuesday.
You mentioned, you know, still trying to find your identity. Is it still searching for it, or is it kind of knowing what you want to be, but figuring out how to do that consistently?
Yeah, I think we know what we want to do. It's just a matter of bringing it out on a consistent basis. And we're still, you know, we're putting the pieces together. Maisha just got here. I just got here last week. We're putting it all together as we go. And it would be ideal to learn these lessons, step into that identity through wins. But sometimes losing is the only way and the best way to learn lessons and to really hit the point home of what we got to do better and be better at as a group. And so I think you said it perfectly. We know what we want to be, who we want to be. We just got to make sure we bring that out of each other every single day.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Jen?
Hey, Sydney,
Howdy.
if I can just ask you to kind of diagnose what went wrong today, do you feel like it was mostly on the offensive end, on the defensive end? Was it execution? Was it energy? What really sticks out to you as what went wrong today and needs to be fixed?
I think we find a lot of energy in our defense, and they punch us in the face real quick. I mean, we fouled really quickly on McCowan and didn't box out on the free throw line, and then Kelsey Mitchell hit a 3. And then they came down, they scored again, and then they scored again. And that's deflating when you come out of the gates just like that, and they're able to find a rhythm, and they were dictating the tempo, and then we were playing from behind the rest of the time. And so I think from the jump, and even before that, we got to make sure that our energy is high in warmups. And as we continue to learn each other, find those simple things that we can do on both ends of the floor. We always talk about communicating and over communicating right now as we're trying to put those pieces together.
And then, I know you guys have practice or walkthrough or however heavy it's going to be tomorrow, but what are you guys going to do between now and then? You've got, almost 24 hours.
Yeah, I think watch the film. Film doesn't lie, and it's a mirror, so you're able to see, critically look at yourself and then look at the group as a whole and ways that you could have done better in different situations. And it helps that we're going to be seeing them on Tuesday, so you're prepping for that exact look again. Obviously, they're going to be adjusting too in this time frame, but I think just watching film and if you feel like you got to get some shots up, whatever is best for each individual. But I know film is going to be heavily emphasized going into Tuesday.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Natalie?
You touched on this a little bit, but would you consider playing them again so quickly, an advantage or a disadvantage, and then why?
It reminds me a lot of playoffs. It's obviously it's early, it's the beginning of the season, but this is preparing us for what it's going to be like in a playoff series. So I think it's perfect for us to see how quickly we can adjust, how quickly that we can watch the film and apply that going into the next game. And this is our job. So we got to be able to work on the fly and continue to improve and get better as we go. That's the beauty of basketball, is you're never going to be perfect at it as a group, as an individual. And so playing the same team again simulates the playoffs, and that's perfect practice for us going into the rest of the season.
Jen, you had another question?
Yeah, I just thought of one more real quick.
Okay.
Sydney, just wanted to ask you about the switch to the zone defense, I think in the fourth quarter, and how much you guys have practiced that and how effective you thought it was today.
Well, since I've only been here for a week, I'm not sure how much it was practiced, but I love how we were able to adjust to that and throw them out of the rhythm. I love zones on occasion because it does throw the rhythm off, and they were in a really good offensive rhythm. So to make them think twice about certain things that were easier in the first quarter, it was a good look for us to mess with them a little bit, and they adjusted going into the second half. But I think the zone was a really good look for us, and we're going to continue to improve at it. Like I said, I'm not really sure how much it's been worked on, but I know that after today, we see very clearly different gaps that we need to cover better, ways that we need to communicate. So that's another thing that we're going to be able to watch on film.
Got it. So it sounds like at least it hasn't been worked on much at all since you arrived last week.
We mentioned it in shoot around yesterday, walk through it a little bit, but I know it's different talking about it and rather than like actually going live in it. So we didn't really go live in the zone yesterday, but we talked about it. So it's been talked about.
All right. Thank you, Sydney.
Thank you. Go Mystics.